All right, before I go into work here, I'm going to give a little synopsis of what we're dealing with. With the Wrangler Riders and Rollego four-wheel drive, our objective is to create a public trail system in Wisconsin, a registration program for machines, our vehicles, that we can utilize to build trails and get public access on private and public lands for the sake of recreation. We got to build trails that are preservable, that we can use nearly indefinitely with very little maintenance work. And we advocate for slow speed trails, which are the trails that you typically drive 1 to 3 miles an hour. We're not looking for gravel roads. There's plenty of those already in Wisconsin. We're looking for actual trails that are fun to drive on. If you've ever been out to iconic trails such as Rubicon Trail, heading out to Moab, doing those types of trails, there's a very specific type of trail type that, again, is more of a slow speed trail. Whereas a Rubicon's only 20 some odd miles long, it takes you all day to do it because it is a challenging trail. And you have bypasses and such, of course, but these are the types of things we want to build in Wisconsin. And having crawl points and waypoints within city limits, and also slow speed trails scattered throughout Wisconsin, is where we're headed with this. Most of the trails in southeast Wisconsin that are public are more gravel road type, and we have some park and crawl waypoints and such, but overall there's really not much to crawl. The private trails that we've created are more of the crawly type. They are higher level and have the bypasses and such, but we built these so that we can also use them as a template to show land managers, DNR folks, legislators, what types of trails we want to build. With the post below this one, where James tried to put together, we were trying to build this Black Knight rig up so that it was an example. We wanted to be able to go and take this to town board meetings and again, legislators, DNR folks, and say, look, this is pretty much at the end of what Wisconsin lift laws that are already in place would allow. We're not talking bigger than this. We're talking this and smaller. And to do it in that fashion instead of coming in with a stock rig will help us mold trails and the recreational activities for a lot of the middle classed machines that are slightly built, not quite stock. And even you look at the Rubicon, the JL Rubicon comes standard with 33-inch tires now. Legally, it can go 8 inches over stock on the tire size. That gives it 41s. Obviously, you don't want to put 41s on a standard stock axle, but for the most part, it gives an idea of what we're looking for. And we want to be able to take these to town board meetings. I want to be able to show a village hall or a council meeting or whatever and say, look, come outside, let's take a look at this. We're not talking, a 12-inch lift kit with 72-inch tractor tires. We're not talking that. We're not talking, 1,000 horsepower supercharged craziness, and race car engines and stuff. For the most part, most of us are dealing with the Pentastar V6. That's a minivan engine. It's quiet, it's very, very economical, and it can do a lot of things paired with this new transmission. So these are the types of things I want to allow town board members to be like, hey, come on in. Why don't you go ahead and drive this thing? And you can see this is not a dangerous vehicle. This handles very well on the trail. It's very safe to drive. And we want these types of folks to feel comfortable with these types of vehicles. But showing it in an aftermarket situation with this is a primary objective. We also have a lot of shows we go to, and to showcase a vehicle that is more typical that you'd see on the trail, while still encouraging stalkers and new folks to join us. So my wife and I have donated thousands and thousands of dollars to make this happen, to put the website up, to do the pre-licensing, get all the stuff done. And then as the organization grew, we were able to knock those payments off, get, where it's standing on its own feet, and that sort of thing. But I have a big problem with organizations that use membership funds to do personal things. I don't feel that that's correct. I don't think that is a way to keep an organization sustainable, and I refuse to use membership fees for anything except trail and program development. So, we have a budget committee. We're running as a nonprofit. We have an advisory board. Full disclosure at our annual meetings and that sort of thing is very important to keeping things sustainable. So when we tried to build this, I am burning the wick at both ends, and you can tell my frustration in that previous post. I'm dealing with not only the current user group, but also the people we're trying to get access from. And there's fighting on both sides. There's opposition on both sides. And it's very, very frustrating to deal with that on a daily basis. Not to mention all the volunteer work. Again, I'm processing memberships. I'm not paying somebody to do that. I'm volunteering my time every morning before work as much as I can, after work, at night, between or after family time. And I believe this is a very important step to getting the organization off on the right foot and to grow a community that everybody wants to be part of, So when we're trying to build a rig, when I'm trying to do this, I was eventually planning on building this, but the way we are presenting this, the professionalism that we have generated, and we have organizations and government agencies who are requesting us to come to meetings now. And so this was happening. I didn't anticipate this happening for another year and a half, where I could save up to do this all myself. I don't want anybody's help. It's a pride thing, as most people know. But last night's conversations between the advisory board and, the user groups and the people who voice their opinions on this stuff, the things we're doing and the stuff I represent, I don't just represent myself anymore. And I represent the entire community. We're in a year of transition. The trail ambassadors are going to be taking over a lot of the events. But right now, a lot of the stuff that's still on the calendar is organized by myself. And it's overload. I mean, one person can only handle so much. I mean, there's a lot of events. We did a lot of events last year. A lot of those were handled by Regan and Connie. This year, we got a good team of, by the time our next class happens for the Trail Guide ambassadors, we'll have probably about 20 trail ambassadors to start out with for 2019. So they're going to be able to make their own events and their own rides. And that's what we want. That's what I need to have happen, so I can do a lot of the backside meetings and legislative and keep developing the online training programs for everybody and get it so that this thing can grow as it can. So James from Levoy's Nut and Bolt Shop, I can't thank you enough for spearheading to try to get the companies together, to try to get the membership base together, to try to have a build that we can represent at these things very quickly. Eric from Topsy Products donated the time and the booth space, the fuel and the lodging to get us to Jeep Beach, which is the largest Jeep event in the United States. And to have it so that we can talk with local clubs and say, this is what we're doing, to go and talk to the manufacturers and aftermarket folks and say, look, here's how we're trying to help the industry. We're going to try to help you sell more products by getting more people into this the right way, and by providing more trail access to user groups in Wisconsin, because that's where we're from, but also across the nation as we can help. We developed a national landowner insurance package. Nobody else could do that because of my experience in the insurance industry and writing commercial lines coverage through National Motorsports for the last since 2002. So I mean, I've got a rapport with the carriers to put dollars on the line to make that stuff happen, so that clubs and local chapters can get affordable landowner coverage without a lot of expense. these are things that I'm uniquely positioned to do, but it's all happening so very fast. And the Black Knight build is a very important part in keeping this speed and growth happening. And unfortunately, I got a little bonus when I did my at the end of the year for my job, and my wife and I, we paid our taxes and we bought tires. So I got the 38-inch tires, and we were looking at lifts and that sort of thing. I know Todd and Jeeps for Life were trying to get sponsors. Nobody's biting. And then James just said, hey, here's what we can do, and I'll donate the time to put the lift on. And he knows what we're trying to do. He understands that by helping the organization, by helping me represent us as a whole, we can get more trails more quickly. We can get the stuff mapped out. We can get access where we otherwise couldn't get. And so I felt, I've never been on the recipient side of anything like this. I'm always, I have no problem giving to all these other things that we're trying to do, and the rides we have for vets, and we did the homeless stuff for the hurricane relief, and we do things for the community because that's what we do. We do the charity rides, we do the Toys for Tots stuff. We're actively doing that stuff because that's who we are. I think all of us are. So this is a unique situation that I've never been in before. So I apologize for, again, being brash and not being able to explain myself very well, because there's a lot of wheels moving, there's a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm under a lot of stress. There's just no other way around it. The advisory board yesterday, I expressed my frustrations with them. They offered a lot of words of encouragement, saying, you shouldn't be doing all these events. You need to back down. You need to focus on just a few things, stop doing product reviews, stop doing trail reviews, just do what you can do without burning out. And, these are folks that are very professional friends, mentors, and, together, obviously one person can't run all this stuff. And that's why we're building all the tools the way we're building them, so that people who want to go out and take, have rides and do patrols and report, things on the trail, like, people are going off trail, or, oh, there's a washout, we need to fix that. They write the reports to the trail ambassador thing and send it in, and then the trail ambassador program takes over and gets it to the right people. So these are, again, it's a growth year for 2019. And I do stand by my word that the user group is in of itself a problem. The 4x4 community is not well known and not well represented in Wisconsin. It has a lot of negativity within government agencies who have worked with past 4x4 groups that have severely burned relationships. And we didn't want to be part of that. We literally invented Road Legal 4-wheel drive as we needed something different. And, we were a Road Legal trail vehicle, and then Joel said, hey, why don't you call it Road Legal 4-wheel drive? So it's just 4-wheel drive. Hey, that's a good idea. Okay, so we'll run with that. And then the people that were trying to help create something, a lot of them were part of the problem, and they wanted to represent more than what the program could handle. So we had to go in a different direction to make it so that we had the best chance to get trail use and get a legislative action in place so that we do have a program. So again, this is all stuff on the backside that'll bore you to tears, and I apologize. I'm 15 minutes in now. I got to wrap her up. I just want to say thank you for those of you who have given an unwavering amount of support, helping build trails, helping build the organization, referring members in, doing trail reviews, doing the geo crawls, helping at events, and becoming trail guide ambassadors. And just it's an amazing group of people. There's just not a lot of you, and that puts a high value on the ones we do have, of course. And so that's you know, if you want to be involved, become a Trail Guide Ambassador. Take the class. There's a class coming up next weekend. I got another one scheduled in August, and we might try to get some more in there as I can back off on events and do more training. Put some of this stuff online to do a lot of the training online so that we can reach a larger audience outside of our immediate area and still get everything we need to talk about in there. But all this stuff takes time, it takes money, it takes energy to put together. And there's only so much that can come out of me. So I do apologize for being brash, and once in a while I break down. I'm human. That's going to happen. But I'm careful not to do it on the pages. In the groups and more privately is more appropriate. So yeah, thanks for everybody who's being part of this. I'm going to put the Black Knight build is going to be, I have the James tried to do a GoFundMe thing. They're rewording some stuff. I don't particularly like that GoFundMe is used because they take a chunk. Doing it direct to James, or we do have a fundraising platform that I use on Camp Sinoa's website that I can use on Road Legal 4-Wheel Drive for stuff like this. It works very similar to GoFundMe, but there is no fees. And so it goes, but it still keeps track of everything and people can see the progress and stuff. So I'll try to put that up on the site for this. This build is monumental because it's providing us an opportunity where I physically, and I can't afford to do it fast enough. And we don't have enough sponsor support to build it. So James Levoy from Levoy's Nut and Bolt Shop said he spearheaded it. He just did it. He's like, would you mind if I tried to set this up? And I'm like, I guess. I don't know. I've never done this before. And so that's where we're at. So work directly with James if you want to be part of it. Anybody who donates to this build is going to get put inside a special page within the honor crawls on rl4wd.com. You'll get a badge on your profile. You know, I'll try to put names on the Jeep if possible, but basically it's a community coming together to represent the type of vehicle we want to have out on the trail, or represent the bigger of the examples, so that we can show a proper machine to the folks we need access from. And so we're not, you know, people think 4x4 and they're like, ooh, Redneck Yacht Club, big truck with huge tires and not road legal. And when I can come in with a vehicle like this and say, this is what we're representing, come on in, why don't you go ahead and give her a drive and I'll show you how safe these things are and what we're actually talking about. You know, that makes a huge difference. That opens a lot of doors. And we've learned that from doing this in other recreations. So yeah, that's where we're at. Figure I'd give a little bit more explanation. Hope everybody has a good day. I'm gonna head into work. See you later.